So I just got back from probably one of the bougiest events I've done in a bit here in LA, as Motorola pretty much took over a whole villa in Beverly Hills to show off their new Razr family. Yes, this is a bit of a controversial launch, as the rumors didn't really paint a pretty picture when it came to upgrades. Still, I think we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, as some news were better than expected, though not all of them. I'm Jaime Rivera, and let me go through my 4 hits and misses for the Moto RAZR 2026 series. First of all, the usual quick disclaimers. Motorola did provide travel, but since I live here in LA, that's about it. We barely had about an hour and a half with the phone, so if I miss anything, just bear with me. We do what we can as we rush through things, but if I miss anything, I'll give you my full impressions once the review units arrive. I think the new RAZR 2026 is probably the best example of if it's not broke, don't fix it, in which I'm going to call both a hit and a miss. A hit because, while I know some of you will complain about the looks being about 2 years old, there are still competitors that haven't been able to nail the benefits of this design and let alone do it for less than $1,000. We have 4 new colors, all Pantone with a hematite, violet ice, sporting green, and bright white. Don't ask me which is my favorite, because I honestly like all of them, and especially given their play of materials. Now, there are some positive changes, mostly under the hood as well. We have a new MediaTek Dimensity 7450X powering the show. It's still IP48, but now is mil-spec 810H, which is, if I'm not mistaken, a first in a flip foldable, though correct me in the comments. The battery also gets a boost to 4,800 milliamp hours in a silicon carbon power pack without affecting the footprint. The ultra-wide camera also got a boost to 50 megapixels compared to the old 13, which now complements the 50 megapixel primary we had before and the 32 megapixel selfie. Now, what's the catch? It's the new price point at $799, which I consider to be a tough sell. And I know the industry is heading in this direction, but the bigger problem is the downgrade in the starting storage to just 128 gigs. I'm seriously hoping it's a typo in the spreadsheet, but this pretty much makes buying an old model at a discount a far better buy if you can find one. That being said, there are some software perks exclusive to the new model, so stay tuned for my full review to see what's best. If you would have asked me last year if I would have recommended the RAZR Plus, that would have been an easy no. It was literally the same phone as the year before, and with a telephoto that could have easily been served with a digital crop. This 2026 RAZR Plus is actually a hit in a lot of ways once you look at the improvements. First of all, the cameras are now a combo of 50 megapixel sensors, one serving as the primary and the second as the ultra-wide, as it should be. Inside we have the usual 32 megapixel shooter as well, and then there are some Dolby Vision video improvements also being teased that I'll look into once review units arrive. Internals also changed in certain things that kind of matter. Sure, the chip is still the same Snapdragon 8S Gen 3, but now it's paired with a pretty large 4,500 mAh silicon carbon battery, even if at no extra weight in the overall build. And then RAM and storage remain the same at a hefty 12 gigs/256. The same IP48 water and dust resistance as well. Probably the weirdest part of this release is that there's only one color option. And don't get me wrong, this Pantone Mountain View is gorgeous in this jacquard-inspired finish. It does get more expensive at $1099, but I do think this is the RAZR Plus we shouldn't have gotten like 2 generations ago. I think the RAZR Ultra 2026 is an interesting combination of hits and misses. I mean, the base and Plus RAZRs didn't change much, so you could assume that's the same case for the Ultra, but bear with me on this one. Yes, the outside looks the same in essence, but I'd easily say these new colors are my favorites by far. Pantone Cocoa is a darker finish to the wooden look we had last year, which I feel gives it a far better look in my opinion, making it more elegant. But my favorite is this Pantone Orient Blue. The Alcantara is now toned down, blending better with the hardware than it did last year in a way that looks crazy elegant. These colors combined with brighter displays all around give it a more in-your-face experience, making it a pretty interesting update, now protected on the outside with Gorilla Glass Ceramic 3. Now internals are then mostly the same, with a Snapdragon 8 Elite, 16 gigs of RAM, and storage that starts at 512 gigs. Thing is, the silicon carbon battery update is here as well, now at 5,000 milliamp hours, which I don't think I've seen elsewhere in this form factor. Same water resistance, same displays, but what's a first in the industry is the primary camera sensor of this phone. It's a 50 megapixel low-fix sensor, which we've only heard of in rumors for future iPhones and Galaxies, promising more dynamic range and detail than we're used to, along with Dolby Vision video. This innovation alone is a major deal on my book, but then yeah, we have to talk about this price tag. See, $1499 is a lot of money, which is really the miss part of this phone. Seriously, that low-fix camera performance really has to be amazing for this phone to stand apart from its predecessors, so stay tuned for my full review as we'll see if it pulls it off. The Razr Fold is, in a lot of ways, the foldable that I've been waiting for since, CES? It's taken a bit for the company to launch it in the US, but that time is finally here, and I'm going to call this a definite hit now that we have all the details. In the United States, it comes in two colors, Pantone Black and Blue, which is my favorite given the texture of the material, and then Pantone Lily White. They aren't as inspired as the bold colors of the flip phones, but listen, I'll take it for what you're getting in the package. See, we're talking about a crazy thin foldable design at just 4.5 millimeters when open, 9.9 millimeters when closed, which sure sounds more than the Z Fold 7, up until you realize this phone has an insane battery. It's 6,000 milliamp hours on this silicon carbon power pack, matched then with 80-watt wired charging, 50-watt wireless charging, and 5-watt reverse. It's powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, 16 gigs of RAM, starts at 512 gigs of storage, is IP48 and IP49 rated, and somehow only weighs 243 grams. These displays are then a 6.6-inch POLED on the outside, protected by Gorilla Glass Ceramic 3. On the inside, it's an 8.1-inch 2K LTPO panel with stylus support thanks to a Moto Pen Ultra, which is sold separately at $99, and which is something that I've been asking for that the Z Fold 7 ditched. And then the cameras are a 50-megapixel Sony Lightia sensor, though I'm waiting on specifics, a 50-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 50-megapixel Lightia 600 telephoto that starts at 3x optical. It's a lot of foldable already, but then once you consider the fact that it starts at $1899, which pretty much undercuts most of its competition in the West, and yeah, you totally understand why this is a hit on my book. In today's question, let me know. What was your favorite product announced from Motorola today? Because in my case, it's really that Razr Fold. It brings a lot of the aggressiveness that this form factor needs in the United States. I'm curious to know if you like what you see in the comments. And listen, these are just my quick first impressions. Review units can change a lot of that, so stay tuned. Let me know if you agree with my assessment in the comments below. And while you're at it, please like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments, as I'm sure you've seen me try to respond to as many as I can. Also follow me on social media as more behind-the-scenes work continues to happen there. By the way, our Technically There podcast with Josh is coming back very soon, so stay tuned for that as well. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.